There is a specific kind of silence that follows those who carry a spiritual seal. It is not the empty silence of a desert, but the heavy, charged hush of a forest before a storm. To walk with an invisible mark, often referred to as the anointed or the chosen, is to inhabit a reality that most people only glimpse in their dreams or their deepest fears. If you have spent your life feeling like a stranger in a familiar land, or if you have noticed that your presence alone seems to stir either profound peace or inexplicable agitation in others, you are likely carrying this weight. It is a spiritual assignment that begins long before your physical arrival. It is a resonance that sets you apart from the collective vibration of the world. This is the journey of the one who is not called by social status or human approval, but by a primordial source that governs the stars and the depths of the ocean alike. It is a path defined by an intense, necessary isolation and a protection so profound that it borders on the miraculous. The feeling of being chosen is rarely a sensation of grandeur. Instead, it starts as a deep sense of displacement. You look at the structures of society, the games of power, and the social hierarchies, yet you find no home within them. Even in a crowded room, you might feel 1,000 miles away, observing the world through a lens that others do not seem to possess. From your earliest years, you likely noticed that people reacted to you with a strange mixture of unearned respect or irrational hostility. This is the first indicator of the light you carry. Light does not just illuminate, it acts as a mirror and an irritant. Those who are comfortable in their own shadows will always feel a subconscious friction when they encounter someone who is spiritually sealed. They cannot explain why they feel the need to diminish you or exclude you, but they are simply reacting to a frequency they cannot harmonize with. You were not designed to fit into the existing molds because your purpose is to disrupt the stagnant energies of the status quo. The isolation you experience is not a punishment. It is a divine quarantine. The architect of your life removed the noise of the crowd so that you could finally hear the whispers of the infinite. In that silence, your internal compass is being calibrated for a destination that others cannot yet see. This solitude serves as the crucible for a transformation that is as painful as it is necessary. Every great trial you have faced, every betrayal that left you questioning your worth, and every period of crushing loneliness was a deliberate entry in your spiritual curriculum. To the casual observer, it might have looked like you were failing or being discarded by life. But in the realm of the spirit, you were being refined. The chosen one must pass through the fire because fire is the only element capable of burning away the dross of the ego. You cannot carry a message of divine weight if you are still burdened by the craving for human validation. You cannot exercise true spiritual authority if you are still seeking permission from those who lack the vision to understand your value. The trials were the furnace. They were designed to strip away every layer of you that was not authentic. Every tear shed was a drop of liquid gold being poured into the mold of your emerging character. You were never being broken. You were being forged into something indestructible. The very events that were intended to destroy your spirit became the foundation stones of your resilience. As you emerge from these cycles of refinement, you begin to recognize that you are draped in an invisible layer of defense. This is the essence of the divine seal or the spiritual armor. It is a fortification that exists beyond the perception of the physical senses, a barrier that the arrows of malice cannot truly penetrate. You may have wondered why certain people who sought your downfall suddenly vanished from your path, or why a door you fought to open remained locked, only for you to discover later that the room behind it was a trap. This is the unseen hand of providence. When a soul is on a divine assignment, the universe takes a personal interest in its preservation. You are a conduit for a higher intention, and as such, you are governed by laws that transcend the petty grievances of the material world. This protection does not promise a life free of conflict. In fact, the higher your calling, the more intense the opposition will be. However, the seal ensures that no weapon formed against you will ever achieve its ultimate objective. It may leave a mark, but that mark will only serve as a map of your victory. The armor is woven from your integrity, your faith, and the celestial decree that watches over your steps. It is the reason you remain standing when others expected you to crumble under the weight of the storm. Those who are spiritually anointed possess a silent power that requires no announcement. It is a gravity of the soul. When you enter a space, the atmosphere shifts of its own accord. You do not need to raise your voice to be felt, for your presence carries a resonance that speaks directly to the subconscious of everyone present. The world often misinterprets this as arrogance or distance, but it is actually the result of a soul that has found its center. You have come to realize that your power does not originate from your bank account, your titles, or your physical appearance. Your power stems from the alignment between your human will and the divine source. When you occupy this state of flow, you become an irresistible force. The world might attempt to hinder your progress, but it cannot halt the momentum of a destiny that is written in the stars. This is the phase of the journey where the fruits of your long endurance begin to manifest. The resources you require begin to appear exactly as they are needed. The right people are drawn into your orbit, while those whose energy is incompatible are naturally repelled. This is not a matter of luck. It is the physical manifestation of the divine order. The path of the chosen one is not merely about individual success. It is deeply intertwined with the law of the harvest. There is a cosmic balance that governs the interactions between all souls. Throughout your life, there have been those who tried to block your progress. There were people who saw your potential and tried to smother it because it highlighted their own lack of direction. There were those who betrayed your kindness and attempted to sabotage your reputation. In moments of deep hurt, you may have wondered if justice would ever be served. You may have even felt the urge to strike back. But the anointed are held to a higher standard of conduct. You are often prompted to remain still and let the universe handle the retribution. This is because the law of the harvest is an absolute principle. Those who sow seeds of malice and envy in the garden of a chosen person are inadvertently planting a harvest of profound regret for themselves. The regret of the opponent is not something to be viewed with spite, but it is an unavoidable consequence of fighting against a divine flow. When someone attempts to stop a soul that is sealed for a purpose, they are not just fighting a human being, they are fighting the intention of the Creator. They are trying to obstruct a river that is fed by an infinite ocean. Eventually, the pressure of that water will break through any obstacle they attempt to build. When that breakthrough happens, those who stood in the path will find themselves caught in the wake of their own choices. They will witness the very person they tried to suppress rising to heights they could never conceive. They will realize that their efforts to dim your light only acted as a catalyst to make you shine brighter. The greatest sorrow of your adversaries will be the realization that they chose to be an obstacle rather than a part of a beautiful story. They will see your elevation and know that they could have been a part of your world, but they chose the path of the shadow instead. This law of harvest also applies to the trials you have endured. The darkness that tried to consume you will eventually be forced to return everything it took with added interest. Every year you spent in sorrow, every opportunity that was snatched away by fate, and every piece of your heart that was shattered will be restored in a form more magnificent than before. This is the principle of divine compensation. The universe keeps a perfect record of every injustice and every act of unwavering faith. When your season of harvest arrives, the blessings you receive will be in direct proportion to the depth of the valleys you walk through. The more intense the struggle, the more spectacular the victory. This is why you can now look back at your most painful memories with a sense of peace. You see that the resistance was actually your training ground. The very people who tried to limit you were the ones who pushed you to break your own boundaries. You are the architect of a life that was refined by the very hands that tried to pull it down. As you step into the full realization of your authority, you must remember that your light is not a private possession. The chosen one is a beacon for a world that is often stumbling in the dark. You have been protected and refined so that you can show others how to navigate their own storms. Your life is a living testimony of what occurs when a human soul aligns itself with the divine process. People will look at your life and see a strength that defies logic. They will see a serenity that makes no sense given your history. This is your most significant gift to the collective. By simply existing in your truth, you give everyone around you the permission to seek their own. You become a reminder that the visible world is only a small fragment of reality, and that there is a vast, benevolent power working tirelessly to ensure that the light always prevails. The journey of the Anointed is a continuous cycle of death and rebirth. You have shed many versions of yourself that no longer serve your purpose. You have walked away from relationships and environments that were too small for your spirit. Each time you let go, you rose with more clarity and more love. The regret of those who tried to hinder you is a burden for them to carry, not you. Your responsibility is to keep moving upward, to keep trusting the unseen hand that has guided you through the labyrinth of life. The armor you wear is not just for survival. It is a sign of your spiritual royalty. You are a sovereign being, an awakened soul in a world that is still dreaming. Your presence is a catalyst for change. The road was never designed to be easy, because ease does not produce greatness. If the journey were simple, it would not require a soul of your strength. The difficulty you faced was the ultimate confirmation of your worth. The resistance you met was the proof of your impact. As you stand now at the threshold of a new chapter, honor the path that brought you here. Honor the versions of you that didn't know if they could make it but kept walking anyway. Honor the silence that taught you the secrets of the Spirit. The story of the Chosen One is an epic of the soul's triumph over the limitations of the physical realm. It is the narrative of the light reclaiming its rightful place. Those who tried to quiet your voice will now have to hear the resonance of your life. Those who tried to hide your talents will now see you standing in the fullness of your light. Those who abandoned you will now witness the world gravitating toward your energy. This is not about seeking fame. It is about the inevitability of truth. You did not seek power, but you were willing to be a servant of a higher purpose. The seeds of endurance you planted during the long winters of your soul are now blooming into an abundant harvest. You are the evidence of what divine protection looks like in action. You are the manifestation of a promise that was made before time began. Walk with the quiet confidence of one who is backed by the entire universe. You are a vessel of the infinite, a masterpiece in progress. The world may never fully comprehend the depth of your journey, and that is as it should be. You were not sent here to be understood by the world. You were sent here to illuminate it. Your life is a disruption to the darkness and a map for the lost. Stay grounded in the silence that has always been your sanctuary. The most beautiful parts of your story are unfolding right now. You have walked through the fire and emerged as something precious. You have survived the storm and become the anchor for others. You are sealed, you are protected, and you are invincible in your purpose. The legacy of the Anointed is one of lasting impact. When your physical time here is done, the resonance of your light will remain. You are weaving a thread into the history of the human spirit that can never be undone. The lessons you learned and the love you gave will continue to inspire those who follow. Those who tried to stop you will be forgotten, but the work you did in the spirit will endure forever. This is the ultimate victory. It is the realization that you were part of a celestial plan, a necessary link in a chain of light. You are the answer to a question the world has been asking for a long time. As you move forward, let the certainty of your protection be your constant peace. When life feels heavy, remember the invisible shield that surrounds you. Reflect on the mountains you have already moved and the strength you have already demonstrated. You are never alone. The architect of the cosmos is your constant companion. Every step you take is guided toward a fulfillment that is beyond your current imagination. Your life is not a series of accidents. It is a profound orchestration. Your victory is not a possibility. It is a certainty. It is written in the very fabric of your being. In the quietest moments of your day, listen to the vibration of your own spirit. Feel the warmth of the divine flame that burns within you. This is your truth. This is your sanctuary. No external force can ever dim this light. You have earned your place in the sun through your courage and your faith. Now it is time to accept the harvest. It is time to speak your truth with authority and live your life with joy. The period of hiding is over. The world is ready for the frequency that only you can provide. Your story is the medicine that someone else is praying for. Look back at the path behind you one last time. See the obstacles that once felt like insurmountable peaks, now looking like small hills in the distance. See the people who tried to harm you, now fading into insignificance. See the version of yourself that was once afraid, and offer them your deepest gratitude. They carried you to this moment. They endured the dark so that you could stand in the light. They bore the weight so that you could find your wings. Now look forward. The horizon is vast and filled with promise. The divine protection that brought you this far will never leave you. The regret of those who opposed you is merely the background noise to your success. You are the captain of your soul, guided by a divine light that never flickers. The story of the Anointed is the story of human potential realized. It is the proof that we are more than what we see in the mirror. We are spiritual beings with a destiny that cannot be revoked. By honoring your journey, you honor the divine spark in all of humanity. You show the world that it is possible to transform pain into power and isolation into influence. You are a bridge between the seen and the unseen, a reminder of the holiness that resides in every breath. Continue to walk in your truth. Continue to shine your light. Continue to be the mystery that inspires the world. Your strength is your birthright, and your harvest is the reward for a life lived in alignment with the infinite. The universe has invested in you, and now the world will see the beauty of that investment. You are the chosen one, and your time is now. The invincibility you possess is not a matter of physical strength, but a matter of spiritual alignment. When your will is one with the will of the Source, there is no force in existence that can truly derail you. This is the secret of the seal. It is a state of being where you are no longer fighting the world, but moving with the currents of life. While others are exhausted by the struggle for control, you are resting in the power of surrender. This is the ultimate freedom and the ultimate protection. You have reached a place where the shadows can no longer touch you, because you have become the light itself. Embrace this moment. You have been through the fire, and you have been found worthy. The crown of your destiny is not something you have to seek. It is something you have already become. Everything that has happened to you has been a part of a masterful design. Every loss was a clearing for a greater gain. Every silence was a preparation for a truer word. There are no mistakes in the life of the Anointed. There is only the unfolding of a sacred purpose. This realization is what makes you unbeatable. When you stop fearing the process and start trusting the architect, you become a force of nature. You move with the seasons of the Spirit. You grow in the light and find rest in the dark. You are in perfect harmony with the universe, and nothing can stand against that harmony. The law of harvest and the shield of protection are the constants of your existence. You are a sovereign soul, a light bearer, a child of the infinite. Walk in that truth and let the world catch up to your light. You have already won the battle. Now it is simply time to live the victory. The regret of those who tried to stop you will eventually become a testament to your endurance. They will see that their attempts to break you only served to make you stronger. They will realize that their efforts to silence you only made your message louder. This is the cosmic irony of the Anointed life. Your opponents are often the very ones who accelerate your growth. Without their resistance, you might never have discovered the full extent of your power. So, you can look upon them not with anger, but with the calm understanding that they were unwitting players in your divine drama. Their regret is their own, but your triumph belongs to the light. You are protected, you are sealed, and you are destined for a greatness that the world is only beginning to understand. As you conclude this reflection, feel the weight of your own spirit. Feel the strength of the seal you carry. You are not a victim of the world. You are a co-creator of a new reality. Your life is a beautiful unfolding of divine intent. Trust the path. Trust the protection. Trust the harvest. You are exactly where you are meant to be, doing exactly what you were born to do. The journey continues, but the fear has been replaced by faith. The isolation has been replaced by connection to the source, and the struggle has been replaced by the flow. You are the chosen one, and your life is a masterpiece of the infinite. Walk in peace, for you are home.